Hello, and thank you for tuning in again to Riding the Wave. You are listening to your urban surfer, Glenn T. How is everybody out there today? Hopefully everybody is being productive, being safe, and going where you need to go. Don't forget to stay in your lane, people. That's the best way to be. If you want to find me, I am on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spreaker, and Spotify. More venues to come. If you want to reach out to me, my Facebook is rtw.podcast. My Twitter is Glenn_town. And my Gmail is ridingthewave.podcast@gmail.com. So I just want to thank all of you guys for tuning in once again. I love the support. I love the interactions. I love the suggestions, questions, and comments. I just want to jump right into it today, as you know I always like to do. Today's topic is, are you using your time wisely? Something very simple, yet something very impactful. How are you using your time? Are you one of those people that have a lot of time on your hands, or one of those people that don't have any? Are you using your time wisely? That's today's topic, people, so we can get into it a little bit. Again, this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You are riding the wave. So just getting right into it. I want to hear a little bit about what you guys think about time, right? None of us possess it. Some of us use it wisely. Most of us don't. Are we truly using our time wisely? What is a wise use of time? Depends on who you ask, right? I mean, if you ask the economist, they'll tell you one thing. If you ask the spiritualist, they'll tell you another thing. It all truly depends on who you are, who you're asking, and what you want to see out of it at the end, right? So let's ask ourselves, are you using your time wisely? I guess it's a simple yes or no question. If if you have any type of clarity within yourself, you can easily determine if you're using your time wisely or not. Quick gauges. Do you still have a lot of stuff you want to do? Is there still a lot of incomplete projects? More than likely, you're wasting your time doing something you shouldn't be doing. So let's go ahead and talk about some things that prevent time management. And again, this is my opinion, people. These are my realities. These are my perceptions. My mission is only to change one mind a day in a positive way. Get you to expand your horizon. If I've done that, I've done a wonderful job. Otherwise, I'll go back to the drawing board. I love you guys, and hopefully you're not tired of me yet. So, things that prevent time management. I'm just going to toss one out there like I always do, right? It's the first pitch of the game. Let's go with laziness. How do you feel about that? I think laziness prevents any type of good use with your time, right? Sitting there, couch potato style, kicking your feet up, letting life happen. TV's watching you, you're not watching it. Pizza delivery guy knows your order by heart. Can tell you the change down to the penny because you don't change anything, right? I mean, if you're not using your time wisely, I'm sure you're not going to give much thought to a menu item either. Safe to say that laziness is definitely something that is a catalyst to a lot of bad things, time management being one of them. Right? You can't manage your time correctly if you're a lazy person. What makes a person lazy anyway? I guess that can be an entirely different story, but that's certainly a bad use of time. So if you wanted to know if you're using your time wisely and you're a lazy person, automatically you're X'd out. You're not using your time wisely. There's so many other things to do than just to sit around and do nothing. Right? So that certainly prevents some time management there, along with other things, but to say the least, time management. What else do you guys think? Can prevent some time management, that prevents good time management? How about not being a self-starter? Maybe a good sidekick, but not a good leader, right? You're waiting for the band to play so they won't hear your notes squeak. But sometimes you just gotta make the initiative. Definitely one good way to ruin a good plan, good time management. You're just not a self-starter. I mean, you can be the help, but you're not going to create any opportunities for anybody. You're probably not doing the best job for yourself either. So that's something we really want to watch out for. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Glenn T. You are riding the wave with your urban surfer. We're just talking about, are we using our time wisely? Are there some things that you want to do in life, right? I'm sure everybody has some stuff that they want to do in life, and one way to get to it is to free up that time to do so, right? So laziness is certainly not a key. We can't free up time to do the things that we want to do by being lazy. And we're not here forever, and I'm sure that God didn't create us so we can be a bump on anybody's log, right? Again, you may not be a self-starter. You may be a good, you may be a good addition to a plan, but you just may not be the catalyst to anything. So if you're not, you're probably not going to do well with your time either. It requires some level of initiative to manage your own time. What do you think? Questions, comments? Do you think it takes a little initiative to manage your time, or do you think you can just wing that? It just happens. It falls into place without any effort. Only in a perfect world, or if you believe in luck. Let's change it up a little bit, though, right? Maybe not the person, the total sloth, or the person that's just laying around all the time, the bump on a log. What about those people that are extremely busy, right? I'm sure they have a lot of things to do, but you ever met that person that's just always busy? I mean, come on, you have no free time ever? That's horrible time management. I know you want to take on the world, but the world seems to be chewing you up. All right, so another thing that can prevent some time management is just taking on too many things, right? Not saying no to anyone. Hey, can you help me with this? Sure. But you forgot you had that other thing set up already during the same gap of time. Let's see you work your wonders. Right? Somebody's going to get disappointed, or nobody's going to get the outcome that they're truly looking for. Right? So taking on too many things, can't you see how that'll be a problem? Right? I can see it. I heard of multitaskers, but I heard of being overextended too. I'm sure there's a fine line in between both, right? We are complex, advanced creatures, so I'm sure that we don't fall flat every time we take on more than one task. But there are a lot of people out here that can't walk and chew gum. Sometimes I can be that person. It all depends on what it is. You ever had a conversation with somebody on the phone and they're texting and you can almost tell that they're texting because they can barely concentrate on something simple that you're talking about? That's a perfect example of not being able to walk and chew gum. I knew quite a few people like that. I'm like that sometimes. And it's just you're lending a lot of attention to one thing and maybe not enough to the other. But who's to gauge, right? But on a deeper sense, preventing time management can just simply be just taking too many things on. Slow down a little bit. Learn to complete a task before you commit to another one. I know you may think highly of yourself, and you may be in the right. But be effective when you're doing anything. You don't want to take on too many things, and you don't want to prevent yourself from being able to say no sometimes. Sometimes just say no. I mean, it can be a bit disappointing. The things that you think are insignificant can be huge to the party that's not going to receive the result because you just took on one too many tasks. Hey, you may not talk to that person on the phone today, but that phone call might have been something they waited for the entire day. So you really don't know what's happening on the other side. I say, stop taking on too many things. Learn to be a self-starter. Stop being lazy. These are all things that prevent time management, right? So for those of you listening, this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You are riding the wave. And today's topic is, are you using your time wisely? And we know just by example, there's a few of them that, prevents time. And this isn't all inclusive, obviously. But laziness, that's certainly a snatcher of any time management. Just not being a self-starter. You're waiting for the next person to do something. They may not be on your clock. So you may lose some time out on that, right? And sometimes just taking too many things on. Remember, we have 2 hands, 2 feet, and we can only be in one place at one time. I know some people have hearts bigger than what they're able to do, but at the same time, you want to pace yourself out a little bit just to be effective for everyone that needs you. So now that we know a little bit about, even if we're using our time wisely, or just some of the things that prevent good time management, we just went over that. What are some of the benefits in managing your time? Any questions, comments, suggestions? What do you think? What are some benefits on managing your time correctly? Me and my shoulder, I'm about to throw one out there on you guys. What about it increases opportunities? What do you think about that? Because that can be a little bit broad, but right, if you think about it, if you was just to do everything that you committed to within a certain frame of time, wouldn't that just free up some time a little bit? And with your free time and your skill set and your abilities, wouldn't that possibly create more opportunities in your direction? I mean, it's plausible to say the least. So good time management, just to be surface with it all, it may give you some extra opportunities. So, I mean, that would be a good gauge. I would say that's a good motivating force to managing your time better, right? Just gives you more opportunities. Sometimes opportunities equals dollars and cents. I don't know what people are motivated by. I mean, more opportunity. You may be able to remember more of the good book. You may be able to help more people out in charity. You may be able to spend a little more time with your kids, right? How many of you are hard workers out there and barely have any time for your children? Because this is a real world. It can happen. Your time doesn't always match with their time, and then time itself just keeps on going forward. So this week you wasn't able to spend time. Next week coming, you may want to. It happens again. And next thing you know, weeks turns into months. Months turns into years. Your little boy has a mustache now. Your little girl has, a different figure now. Like, I mean, their interests are no longer the same as when you turned around. So I would say one of the good things on managing your time it just increases opportunities that we probably can't get back. So what else? What else does good time management do? Right? Gives you a sense of priorities, right? Organizes things for you. Because I'm a big believer that priorities set themselves. Somebody dying versus somebody with a scratch sitting in a hospital, no one's going to take the person with the scratch first, right? Priorities set themselves. We don't really have to worry about it, but what we do know is that if we manage our time better, we'll prioritize ourselves better. Maybe hanging out isn't as good as getting that extra couple hours of rest so you can spend the full day with your child tomorrow. It's just the way you approach things. It all depends on what you want. But just to be completely surface and non-biased about anything, it helps you prioritize, right? I mean, we have to agree with that. And organization is also a good skill to have, right? It's transferable. You can use it within your work field, with your personal life, etc. Right? It's a transferable skill. Prioritizing, organizing, these things are helpful in any realm. And when you're more organized and you prioritize, all of the things that you have to do, your responsibilities, your leisures, things of that nature, then you start to see what's left, which actually brings me to my next point. Isn't it safe to say that if you manage your time, you can really take a real assessment of what you have? All right. Sometimes we feel like we have all the time in the world, but we sleep for 6-7 hours. We work for 9-10 hours. We travel for 2-3 hours. We sit down and eat for 1, cook for 1. And then we may have a couple of hours left for leisure, right? But then we done told ourselves that we're going to take our daughter to ballet classes, our son to basketball. We supposed to be helping our niece out with her homework. And, you really start to lose track. So it's safe to say that, just prioritizing, you can take a real assessment of what you actually have. You may not be that free person you think you are in your head. Or you may not be as busy as you want to be. It can go either way. So, this is something that, organization and time management does for you. you can see what you actually have. So there's no harm in that. That's just some of the examples of, what good time management can do. You guys, we all live busy lifestyles. We're all adults. We all have many responsibilities and obligations. Just imagine you take on a new position, and that position requires 6 months of your time before you can make any adjustments. Right? You're going to have to work your time around that now. Whatever you was doing before, you have to do differently now because that's a new adjustment, right? It's a priority. So these are just examples. Again, time doesn't belong to us. We're just a part of it. For those who believe in a higher power, they created this time for us so we can utilize it wisely. Whether it's through worship, whether it's through attaining knowledge, whether it's to seeking bounty, whether it's just to spend time with your loved ones, or time to reflect. Time is very important. Time is something that's highly overlooked. We feel we got all of it, we feel that this time is going to keep on ticking for us forever until it stops. Really take assessment of your time. For those people that are not too spiritual, you may believe time is money. You may be spiritual and believe time is money. But I want to ask you a real question. If time is truly money, would you manage it any differently? If time was money, would you manage your time the same way you manage your money? Because if they're synonymous and they're all one and the same, the way you handle your money should be the way you handle your time. Take assessment of yourself. Remember one time, one of these rich people on the videos, you see on YouTube and stuff, they have these commercials. They said one person who's well known, very wealthy, they used to take an assessment of every 15 minutes of their time. That can be a bit meticulous, but just really ponder on that. Check yourself every 15 minutes. See how easy or how difficult that is, right? I mean, for those who pray 5 times a day, that's a good gauge on keeping yourself aware of time, right? You always got to know when it's time to pray. So that's my little tidbit for you guys today. Again, this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You have been riding the wave. Again, I just want you to use your time wisely. Open up those opportunities for yourself. Get off the couch. Start motivating yourself. Stop taking on too many things. Start concentrating on what you can do and complete it and move forward. Make assessments of the time that you do have. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. Let's try to choose those choices that are going to best benefit us with this little bit of time that we have here. Again, I want to thank everybody for riding the wave with me. This is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. Please be productive, be safe, and stay in your lane. Thank you, everybody. Take care.